Hi, my name is Sarah Clare with the Rediscovery Centre, and welcome to this virtual video workshop on sustainable engineering. This video workshop was very kindly funded by Fingal Libraries and Fingal County Council. So just a little bit about the Rediscovery Centre. The Rediscovery Centre is the national centre for the circular economy in Ireland. And what we do is we connect people, ideas and resources towards a green, low carbon living and to promote sustainability and the circular economy. We do a number of things around this. We have four social enterprises where we take unwanted materials such as furniture, bikes, fashion, and paint. Instead of them causing environmental issues by being incinerated or going to landfill, we actually upcycle or repair, and we showcase how all this can be done as well to support low carbon, greener living. We also do a lot of research into sustainability and the circular economy as well, both on a national and international level. And we have a number of education programs for primary, secondary, third level, special needs and adults as well, all around themes to do with sustainability and also science, technology, engineering and math. If you'd like to find out more about us, you can check out our website, rediscoverycentre.ie. So I'm Sarah Clear, the Head of Education here at the Rediscovery Centre, and I'm going to be bringing you through sustainable engineering. So first of all, what is engineering? I'm sure you guys have a really clear grasp on this, but it's worth having a little think about what comes into your head when you think of engineering. What do you think engineering is? So if you'd like to stop the video here, have a little think about it, have a chat in groups as well. So engineering is a branch of science and technology concerned with the design, building and use of engines, machines, structures and also systems as well. So it's really the application of science, technology and maths to solve problems. Engineering is all about the solutions to problems, figuring out how things work, and it's also finding practical uses for scientific discoveries as well. Engineers design, evaluate, develop, test, modify, install, inspect, and maintain a huge variety of products and systems as well. So the two images on this slide here, the first one is from Singapore, and this was all about promoting sustainability and greener cities as well. So these are structures that were created to increase biodiversity, to increase air quality and reduce air pollution in cities. And their solution was to come up with these massive structures that are modeled on trees, where they have a lot of plants growing up them. People can interact them. So it's different ways of people in that community being able to interact with nature within a city environment. And also it promotes a lot of low carbon living, greener living as well, and promoting biodiversity, air quality, and it's actually helping to climate change as well, mitigate against climate change. The image on the bottom is an image of a bridge from Germany, where they were trying to solve the problem of a canal and a river interacting. So they built a bridge for the canal over the river as well. So again, solutions to real life problems and finding practical answers as well to this. Great. So what kind of things do engineers do? They do a huge variety of different things. Engineering has a really big impact on our everyday life and also for our future as well. So coming up with solutions for how we're going to, how humans are going to live, how we're going to interact with our environment, different solutions for transportation, such as the plane here, and the bridge as well. So this is a bridge going between Denmark and Sweden. It's the world's longest sea bridge, and they had to come up with a wide variety of solutions as well to allow transportation between these two countries. So there's a huge amount of engineering challenges in this as well, particularly because of the substrate, so how it was going to actually be built over the sea to make it a strong structure, how people were going to interact with it as well, how it was going to be used, all the different solutions for different transportation do. So engineers also help us design cities, everything from skyscrapers to roads to creating solutions for electricity, renewable energy. It's also, there's quite a lot of engineering as well in the everyday products that we use, everything from toothbrushes, machines that make them, to our technology and how we actually use technology and solutions for improving different resources, and how as humans we interact with different technologies, how we use it. Engineering really does come up with solutions, and it actually helps to create what our future is going to be. So when it comes to engineering, the engineering process is incredibly important. So just going to take you through the engineering design process, and you're going to be using this later for the hands-on challenge. You've probably seen this a little bit before, but it's really worth having a look into this, what the engineering process is. So the first step is to define what is the problem that we're trying to solve. Then you need to identify what the constraints are for the solution. Is it time? Is it money? Is it materials? And also, what are going to be the criteria for success? What are the essential things that we need to solve, or we need to think about when it comes to solving the problem? Then brainstorming, and this can be really good to do as a group as well. The more ideas, the better. We want multiple solutions to the problem and as creative as possible, really innovative, thinking about it in different ways as well. And it is definitely worth spending a lot of time to brainstorm out different solutions for this. When you've got a wide variety of solutions, then you can start selecting, thinking through what's the most promising solution, which ones are going to really tick off those criteria for success and allow for the constraints as well. So the time, the money, the materials. When you've selected the most promising solution, then it comes down to prototyping. So thinking about how you're going to solve this. How is it actually going to be built? How is it going to be made? How is this going to function? How is it practically going to be applicable as well? And then building a prototype. So this could be a drawing, this could be a virtual model as well. It could be done in a variety of different ways. And then testing out and evaluating the prototype. And again, as you're testing out, you will probably see some issues that are actually coming up through your solution. So what you need to do again is to keep evaluating exactly how your prototype, your model is going to solve the problem that you're trying to solve. Iterate then, improve your prototype, and then communicate your solution. And again, you're going to have a look then about defining any problems that come up through this process as well. So this engineering design process, you don't just go through this loop once. Keep going through it to try and engineer out any issues that are being caused by your solution, any problems that are being caused, and different ways to do it. So this is a process that engineers will go through multiple times to come up with a really robust solution to problems. Now we're going to look at what sustainable engineering is. So sustainable engineering is the process of designing products, processes, and systems so they don't compromise society, the natural environment, and particularly the ability of future generations to be able to meet their own needs. So what happens at the moment is, as a society, we are taking natural resources, making them into things, and then we're throwing them away, causing environmental and societal issues at all steps in this process as well. We're making, taking, and disposing of a huge amount of natural resources, energy, and this is a solution that we can't keep going, because as we're taking all these natural resources, it means they're not going to be there for you guys in the future, and also for future generations as well. So what we always need to think about when it comes to sustainability and sustainable engineering is thinking through how it's going to affect the well-being of people, how it's going to affect societies around the world as well. So how is it impacting on local people and also people on a global scale as well? Is Are there environmental issues being caused by the extraction of natural resources, the manufacturing process, by throwing things away at the end and waste materials as well? So we need to think about people, we need to think about the environment, and we also need to think about the economy. So that is all about what sustainability and sustainable engineering is. So we need to look at these three aspects or three pillars in order to be sustainable: economic, social, and environmental. And when we have the three of those together and we're thinking about all of them, that's the triple bottom line, or that's where sustainability actually lies. But when it comes to sustainable engineering, what aspects, what considerations, what constraints do we need to think about when it comes to sustainable engineering? If you'd like to stop the video here and work in groups and discuss the question, what do we need to think about when it comes to sustainable engineering? What are the different factors? What are the different elements that we need to think about? It'd be really worth writing these down as well, brainstorming this out. What are the different things we need to think about when it comes to sustainable engineering? Great. So hopefully you guys have had a real chance to explore this in detail and think about all the different factors that come in under sustainable engineering. So the principles of sustainable engineering are as follows. The solution and engineering, what you come up with, needs to be fit for purpose. It needs to be able to do what you need it to do to solve a problem, and it needs to be able to solve a relevant issue. It needs to have positive impacts and benefits to people, the users, local or global. When it comes to sustainable engineering, we need to think about materials that are being used, making sure that they're low impact, non-toxic, sustainably produced or recycled. We need to think about energy efficiency. So using manufacturing processes and producing products which require less energy and use renewable energies as well. We need to think about quality and durability, making sure that the solutions we come up with are long lasting and better functioning products. We need to design for minimizing waste. So products and processes and systems that are going to reduce the amount of waste that we're making, come up with solutions where different components in it are designed for reuse and recycling so that what we're doing, what we're designing, what we're making makes it easier for the recycling and reuse. Things like if we're designing a new laptop, instead of designing one where if it breaks, the whole laptop needs to be thrown away, having components in it taken out and replaced instead of replacing the whole laptop. So again, it's all about thinking about reducing, reusing, and recycling, how we're going to do that in an easier way as well. So one of the really important things when it comes to sustainable engineering is looking at the carbon footprint, the amount of carbon that's generated throughout the whole life cycle of a product in its production, transportation, use, and also disposal as well. And this is getting more and more and more important with the effects that we're seeing from climate change and the global carbon footprint. And our own personal carbon footprint as well of the products that we're using, the services we're using as well. When it comes to the materials, we also need to think about renewability. Are they local? Are they being sustainably managed? And are they renewable resources that can actually renew or regrow themselves, as opposed to using things like fossil fuels and plastics that are non-renewables? We also need to think about design standards, so using the best available standards and best practices as well, ensuring that the people who are manufacturing them, the users that are using them, that everything is designed to the highest safety and environmental standards as well. And really remembering that design is only one part of the cycle. When we look at products and services and processes, the life cycle of them is everything from the raw materials right through to the end of life, seeing how it impacts people, the environment, and the economy. I'm sure you guys got a lot of those when you were speaking about it in groups, but it's really worth thinking about those principles of sustainable engineering when it comes to engineering for the future. So why is sustainable so important? Engineering has a massive impact on our environment, on people, and on the economy as well. Construction and engineering are responsible for a huge amount of waste materials, particularly construction waste, cause a lot of environmental issues as well. Emissions from machinery, vehicles, and hardware can be really harmful for the environment. Engineering and development waste a lot, often cause a lot of pollutants to get into water supplies and into the atmosphere as well, which is having massive environmental and also social impacts as well on people all around the world. Raw materials and components for building also have anything that we're using to build something. So the raw materials and the components, they have a massive impact on what the final products, environmental, social, and economic impacts are going to be. So it's really worth thinking about where those raw materials are coming from, how are they extracted, and remembering that this really does have an impact on what the final product or services footprint is going to be really. So sustainable engineering, there's a huge amount of elements to them, and it's really worth thinking about. So sustainable engineering is our future, and it is going to be the sector that you guys might end up working in as well. But there's huge amounts of different elements to it. And it's nice to have a look at this as a whole of what sustainable engineering is, and then look at the different elements within it. So it's everything from sustainable manufacture, clean power generation, smart cities, clean tech, renewable energy, clean transportation, which is a really big one and a really big one for the future of Ireland as well, and sustainable food and water solutions. So these are some of the different engineering areas that are going to be there in the future. And some of you guys might end up working in different sectors within this sustainable engineering. Here's some ideas of what the future of engineering is going to be. So these are ideas that are being prototyped at the moment and are being tested out. And this might be some of the solutions for some of the environmental, social, and economic areas that we need to solve in the future. So just to take you through some of those. So the plane here at the top is actually being designed with MIT and NASA, and it's a solution for global transportation in aviation. The solution they're trying to come up with here is creating better aviation and better planes in order to be able to transport more people in a cleaner and greener way. So this plane here is going to take 840 people. It's going to travel much faster than the planes that we use now, but using a lot less fuel, so it's a lot more energy efficient as well. So a really, really good solution to the problem of aviation, because aviation causes a huge amount of greenhouse gas emissions. That's a solution that they're trying to solve when it comes to this plane here. This is solar panels. So it is a new cycle path that is actually solar panels as well. So it's going to be cycle paths that are going to be able to power cities in the future. And they're prototyping this out and trying to develop this solution for a transportation of cyclists and creating much more sustainable transportation. And also, instead of just having this as tarmac atom or different materials, they're actually considering how we're going to generate energy in cities in the future. This is a really, really exciting development as well. There's also a huge amount of solutions when it comes to rail transportation. And one of those solutions is going to be the Hyperloop that again is being prototyped and tested out at the moment. This is a solution for transportation by rail, where instead of using traditional fossil fuels and electricity when it comes to transportation, they're actually using magnetism. This is a metal tube inside another metal tube that works on magnetism. There's very little friction. It's incredibly fast. It can travel up to, they're estimating, up to 900 kilometers an hour. It'll be able to transport a lot of people in a safe way and really, really quickly as well. A lot of the engineering as well is looking at, and you've probably seen it coming down, being talked about a lot at the moment, is coming up with solutions for personal vehicles as well, so cars and other transportation that's not using fossil fuels, not contributing to climate change, and also coming up with energy efficient and smart solutions to vehicles such as smart cars, but also powered by electricity and green energy as well. There's a huge amount of difference coming down the line, which is really, really exciting and really good opportunities for the future as well. One particular thing that's going to be really exciting is sustainable cities, redesigning and re-engineering cities. They're better for people, the environment, and the economy as well. Coming up with different solutions for how we're going to live. So making sure that air pollution and water pollution is down, that cities aren't having as big an impact on the future, that everybody has equality of access to education, transportation, clean water, clean air, and that we're mitigating against climate change as well. So trying to solve all those problems. So some very exciting projects that are actually happening in cities like Barcelona as well. So it can be really good to research into how engineers are thinking about creating these sustainable cities and re-engineering cities to make them greener. On that note, now we're going to talk about what your sustainable engineering challenge is going to be. This is a fun, hands-on, interactive way for you to get involved in engineering, sustainable engineering for the future. So what your challenge is, you're going to design an outdoor recreational space for teenagers in your local area that incorporates the sustainable engineering principles. So you can work in teams or you can work individually, and you can create a model for your design. Think about the problem you're trying to solve. You want an outdoor recreational space. It can be something that you're interested in personally, like a skate park. So when you create your model, it can be a physical model using materials you have at home, a design drawing, or a virtual model. It's completely up to you. And what you need to think about, it's all about those principles of sustainable energy design. Create your model as well. You can access the Sustainable Engineering Challenge brief. So here you can really outline what you're going to do, start thinking through all the different constraints and considerations when it comes to solving this problem, how to create an outdoor recreational space that can be used by teenagers. Outline what your plan is going to be for the recreational space. Who is it going to be aimed at? What are their interests? What are the specifications for your design space? This can be features of your design. Think about health and safety. How is this actually going to be used by people? How can we ensure that the users are going to remain safe? Ability, thinking about users with different special needs. What materials are you going to use? Make sure that they're sustainable, renewable, locally sourced. What are the benefits for the local community? Think about sustainable energy, so energy efficiency and using renewable sources of energy. How can your space improve or promote biodiversity? How can you prevent water pollution and conserve water? Think about sustainable transportation. So how are people going to get to your recreational space? And then a description of how you're going to model your design. Are you going to do a drawing, a physical model, a virtual model? What kind of materials would you use to make this? It'll be a really, really good challenge as well. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at any stage. My contact details are on our website, rediscoverycentre.ie. Thank you very much for your time. Here's all my contact details. So if there's anything you need, please do not hesitate to contact me. I hope you've really enjoyed this video workshop today, all about sustainable engineering. Thank you all very much.